are choosing to be single.
Statistically, dating apps are much worse for men.
The hookup culture in college is literally so toxic.
In today's video, we're going to be discussing modern dating culture and how it's a little bit of a hot mess for all the single people out there. From hookup culture to all the different dating apps, between the very differences between men and women, there's a lot of reasons why the modern dating culture is a little bit of a hot mess. So in this video, we're going to go through just that and hear from a couple of different people and their perspectives on this all. And remember, if you like this type of content, be sure to subscribe. It helps the channel grow a ton. Without further ado, let's dive right into this.
Women are choosing to be single and dealing with less because y'all sat here and gave us so much on why we should be doormats to your emotions.
Come on, Randy.
Opposed to taking accountability for the fact that you ain't healed yourself from the up shit your mama did to you. Come on, Randy.
So in the beginning of that clip, she says women are staying single because they're choosing to deal with less BS. Completely valid. That's a reason why I feel like a lot of women are staying single nowadays. And you see this trend of, well, it's because single women are just so smart and intelligent. And truth of the matter is, anecdotal, of course, it's my channel, my own opinion. There's a lot of single women in my life that don't want to deal with BS. They know what they want. They're very educated. They're very self-driven, very independent. If they want to get a man, they can. They're just way more selective about who they're choosing their partner to be because there's so much that goes into a relationship. And women, I feel like, are looking into it extremely more deep. A good chunk of them, at least, are looking into it across the board and taking it very, very slow. And, you know, it's similar to how people have always said that it's easier for a woman to get a man than it is for a man to get a woman. And I personally do think that to be true. I think for any woman out there, it's very easy for her to find a man. There's a man out there that would take her. But the same can be said for a man looking for a woman. There's a lot of differences. So that first part is something that reigns true, I feel like, for a lot of women out there, in that they've done so much personal healing, so much mental health clarity. They know themselves. They know what they have to work through. They know what about them makes them toxic. And when they're approached by men, and most men, I will touch on this in another video as far as toxic masculinity goes within men, they don't know themselves. They haven't done the work on themselves. They don't know what toxic traits they have. The women are like, F it, I'm not dealing with it. Because even for me, when I look around my life, when I look at my straight friends, my straight guy friends specifically, no shade, a lot of them are still soul searching. A lot of them are still trying to figure themselves out. A lot of them are still going through this process of understanding who they are, what's happened to them in their childhood, how they're processing family trauma and themselves mentally. They're still doing that work. Whereas we clown them, but most women are out here doing the mental health checks, doing the yoga retreats, having therapy sessions. A lot of this stuff, while some of it can be toxic like anything, it is valid and it is helping a lot of women progress in their own mental health in their own life.
A lot of people are in relationships because they can't afford a rent on their own. A lot of people are in relationships because they don't want to fall asleep by themselves at night. A lot of people are in relationships because their mom or dad tell them that they're getting too old. A lot of people are in relationships for the wrong reason. And the truth is, when you get to a space where you love you enough to get rid of the noise that comes from outside of you, the people, the places, the things, the biases, the societal norms, when you...
Whoa. Time out, flag on the play. First off, that's exactly what I was just talking about, referring to a lot of the women staying single, but this goes for men too. As far as jumping in a relationship and being in a relationship, oh my gosh, like, it's actually a real thing. There are a plethora of people out there who are together just because they can't afford rent by themselves. And in this economy, it's easier to be somebody and pay rent. They're in a relationship because they feel like they're behind in their age and their parents are forcing them to get in a relationship so that they can get married and start having kids. So they go down this path and they rush it. It's so... I'm shook, and it's not funny. What's funny is how spot on she is, and that these people actually do exist. And we can't ignore that either, that there are... We're going to get to a man's perspective of staying single, but there are a lot of people in relationships right now who need to be single. And the people that identify this, that don't want to go down that route or don't want to be forced or told how to think, what to do, they're staying single. They're working on themselves and they understand their person will come in due time, but I'm not going to sit here and be forced in a relationship. I'm not going to jump in a relationship just so I can pay rent. I'm not going to jump in a relationship just so I can get married and appease my family and have kids. I'm not going to jump in a relationship because XYZ. No, I'm going to get in a relationship because I I want to. Already, the dating culture and the dating scene is already so different than before just because of how vocal we can be, how everybody else is sharing opinions, and everybody else is feeding off of that. Like, I feel like there's a lot of people who used to just get in relationships, but now, because there's so many other single people, they're like, you know what, I'm gonna stay single too, F it. I'm over this, she's also over it, all this group of girls are over it, we're all gonna go do yoga. I feel like it's like that, whereas right now we're in a mix. There's a rise of people not settling, but then there's also still that, I feel like it's a little the same, where there's a good chunk of people still doing what she's talking about right here.
Get outside of all of that, now you can powerfully choose. I'm choosing you because I want you, not because I need you, although I'm not going to act like I don't need you. I'm going to move like I genuinely want you in my life. And until you get to that point, I don't think you should be in a relationship.
Yep, valid. I don't think you should be in a relationship unless you are actively every single day wanting that person you are with. Until you're set in yourself, you're independent, you know what you like, what you don't like, and you're willing to grow with somebody, but you're also not settling. You're also not appeasing anybody else outside of your life. You're also not doing this just because you feel behind or rushed, whatever it may be. You're doing it because you genuinely want to and you genuinely love this person. And I think that takes a lot of bit of time to me. Ooh, there's so many different videos popping in my head as far as like things we can sit here and talk about, especially Valentine's Day coming up. There's a lot to discuss, especially with people jumping into marriages really fast. We'll get into that in another video.
Reasons men prefer to be single rather than date.
Because statistically, dating apps are much worse for men. The financial burden of dating is much higher on men.
I will say, dating's expensive for my straight folk out there. I mean, for gays, it's a little different. I mean, I've always paid for everything just because I'm just that type of guy. I like to, take charge and, like treat others. So that was just me. But for my single dudes out there, they're trying to go on these dates and they're expected to pay for everything in this economy. That's expensive.
The amount of options that a single man has is usually much lower than the options a single woman has. Men who have a lot of options actually prefer to stay single because if they only want to hook up, they can hook up without real relationship. If a man is extremely busy with his career, it's probably easier to not date and get distracted by talking to multiple women at once than it is to just work.
That's true too. There's a lot of single men out there that are just like, F it, I'm not going to waste my time getting married or get with a woman right now because I'm progressing in my career and I want to focus on that. And I do know, I feel, ooh, it's so different. Straights versus the gays, it's so different because with two dudes, it's like, I don't know, I love it. It's so chill. It's so chill. It's two dudes, like living with my best friend that I'm in love with. We get work done. Like it's, what time is it right now that I'm filming this video? It's 6:30. I'm gonna cook dinner after this. We're vibing, we're chilling, we work all night and like, hey babe, I'm working all night. I'm not gonna see you till bed. I'm like, all right, bye. We just do our own things. Whereas I feel like there's a lot of guys out there that wanna work, wanna put in overtime, wanna do this or that, but they're not, I'm not gonna say bogged down, but I will say that it's more of the women that are like, oh babe, let's like go to the movies, or babe, let's like cuddle and do this and that, which is cute. Everybody needs your cuddle time, everybody needs your dates, but I see more men complaining about that on the low. Like honestly, I see a lot more men complaining about the constant attention that it takes to have a girl in your life, and they're not vibing with that either.
Percentage of attractive women that think that all men are trash and that men aren't dateable, and we're kind of sick of hearing that.
That too. We're going on this whole narrative of like, well, men are trash and some men are undateable and this and that. It's so unmotivating for a man to even start dating to begin with because of how toxic the whole landscape has become. So in regards to the dating culture and men and women staying single, it seems like you have a lot of women staying single because they know their worth and they're not settling. They are very picky, which we're gonna get to that later. They could be very well too picky, but they know what they want. Whereas men, they're staying single because it's expensive and it's a little bit of a distraction, but also it is harder for them to get a woman because the dating pool, it just favors women more. And there's a lot of guys who are just like, F it, I'm pulling back. Like I'm aware of some guys out there that are completely fine, thriving, focusing on their career and playing games all night. That's it. And on one end, you got people talking about like, oh, that's so bad. Like they need to go out there, touch grass and meet women. And on the other half, it's like, well, it's hard for them to meet women because they're constantly being judged. And like, who wants to sit here and be judged all day at that? They don't want to sit here and settle. That's the real tea. There's a lot of men out there that are aware of themselves and they don't want to settle, but they also want to put in that extra work it takes for a man to find a quality woman, where he just sitting back and saying F it until someone comes around naturally, I guess. But I don't blame him either, because especially for millennials and, you know, the late Gen Z, a lot of us have toxic parents. A lot of us have divorced parents. A lot of us don't want to go through all that BS. So we identify it, we know it, and we're like, you know, we're just gonna stay away from it. That's just what it seems like. And in regards to the whole dating scene being so expensive, I totally get that. I can't even imagine being a straight single man right now having to pay for all these dates. And trust me, talking to my straight single friends out there, especially the guys, I know the dating scene and going on all these dates and dinners, it can be expensive and it can add up. So if you want to budget a little bit and save a little money, I highly recommend you guys take a look into today's partner factor. No joke, even for all the women out there, this saves so much time and money, it's not even funny. Now, I've talked about other food service in the past, and that's if you want to cook. But if you don't want to cook, you don't want to clean, you don't want to grocery shop, then this is for you. If you want a fresh and fire tasting meal, then I don't know what else to tell you. I've literally used this for well over a year, you guys. And yes, it's fresh. Literally every meal is cooked by a chef, driven to your house, and then you put it in your fridge. There's no freezing it. There's no messiness. It's so good. Y'all, I'm so glad that they're sponsored today's video because I love them down. It takes all the stress out of all the meal planning. Like I said before, the grocery shopping, then the cooking, then the cleaning. No, it delivers to your door. You pick out all the meals you want. You heat it up, you eat, that's it. The meals that you are selecting weekly offer a ton of different varieties, especially for people following different diets like keto, or you're just watching calories, or you're tracking your macros, you want heavy protein, hell, even gluten-free and vegans. They literally have it all. I cannot recommend them enough, seriously, especially if you're a single woman or a single guy and you're really busy or you want to stay on track of your New Year's goals. Give Factor a try, and they're giving you 50% off and free shipping your first box by using my link below or scanning the QR code here on the screen. They got you. Just try it out for a month. That's what I did, and then after that, I was hooked. But at least, like I said before, take advantage of the 50% off using my link below or scanning the QR code here on the screen, and you'll be covered.
I touched on this topic before, but hookup culture in college is literally so toxic. And it's one of those things that I feel like not even like our parents' generation understands, because there was no technology, there was no dating apps, and it's just gotten so much more complicated. And honestly, thankful I'm not single anymore, because like just some of the stuff people go through is just insane.
And just like she said, the whole dating landscape and hookup culture, that's changed itself and how easy it is to do something. Grindr didn't exist in the past, even for the gay dudes. If you want to hook up, I don't even say even gay dudes, any guy, any guy on this planet, you can get some action. I'll give it within 5 minutes using Grindr. Easy. And I know I don't know, like, I guess the straight people, is like Tinder, is that a hookup app? I don't know. I know it's a dating app, but like, at least for me, my experience, Tinder for gay people was like Christian Mingle. And then like Tinder, like gay people, if you want to hook up, you go to Grindr. I don't know what that equivalent is for straight people, but I know the hookup culture is rampant and like she's saying, very easy to do and get into for straight people as well. And even back in the day, I know you had Craigslist, the seeking arrangements on Craigslist. I remember that being a thing. The AIM chat rooms, local chat rooms, this and that. But what we have now is a whole new level. All these different apps you can use, all the different access. It's honestly, no shade, do what you want to do. But I get how it can be disheartening for some people out there who are looking at the dating scene and looking at the hookup culture, and they don't want any part of that. So they're not even giving any of these apps a chance because of how much you have to filter through to actually find a quality person.
Also, I swear it's become like a trend or a cool thing to like not want to settle down. At least for me in high school and like early college, honestly, it was like a flex if you weren't the relationship type. Like, it's just how it was. Like, if you were cool, you weren't in a relationship. Because that was like kind of frowned down upon. And I think it starts to change like when you're a senior in college. Like, I'd say now I know so many more people in relationships than like my freshman year of college or even high school.
For sure. You definitely start dating and taking it more serious as you're graduating college. Especially even after college, it's so hard for you to make adult friendships, you know? And I'll talk about that in another video. There's so much to talk about. I'm so excited for this year making content. But there's so much that goes into even making friends as adults, let alone this whole dating scene.
All right, let's be honest here. Hookup culture is literally normalized in our generation. Going out to parties and bars and finding the next person to hook up with, that's literally just normal now. But am I the only one that finds that dumb? Like, I would do anything in the world to just have a relationship where we can just do everything together. Instead of going out partying looking for the next person to hook up with, we can just go out and party ourselves. Like, even though I was raised old school and I'm respectful, I still love to have fun. But I just would love to have fun with one person. Like, I swear, the day I get into a relationship, that woman is getting my all. Like, I'm talking like beach trips, cute little random dinner dates. Like, I'm literally just gonna spoil her. Not because I have to, but just because I want to. I'm always gonna open her door, I'm gonna buy her flowers. I wanna take a ton of pictures together so we can save our memories and share them with our kids one day. And of course, I wanna meet their family and hang out with them and get close with them. I don't wanna hook up, I don't want a one-night stand. I do not want to just talk to every female I find. I want to get to know every single detail about one person and become best friends and spend the rest of my life with them. Is that too much to ask for?
That is so cute. And that is too much to ask for. Sadly, I know about 3-4 men just like that who tell me how hard it is for them to find a good woman, which is crazy to me. And I don't know. I feel like maybe it's hard for them to find a good woman because of the dating scene and how much you have to sift through. And then even on Tinder, on dating apps, how many, like, even women are like, no shade, it's, not cute enough, don't have abs, like, just swiping carelessly against these guys. I don't know. I feel like I see how it can be very disheartening. He's like a little brother. Ryan, he talks about this. He's a junior in college now, junior, sophomore. I don't know. He's not into the hookup culture at all. He's not into any of that. And he's talking about how hard it is to find just like a good girl. It really is, especially more younger. So I don't know. I feel like that guy and people like him are gonna have better chances if they're with an older woman, or as they get older and women get more mature, because that's a really sound and good guy to me. Really is very wholesome, very cute, very sweet. But it is sad that, you know, he's not getting that attention.
Just turned 26 today, and I'm gonna give it to you straight in 26 words. You cannot attract something that you don't give back. You will only attract things that you yourself are capable of providing others.
Thank you. You cannot sit here, and this is where it gets into, I feel like more, we're gonna hear what she has to say, but I feel like this gets into more men needing to do this work. Anecdotal, at least what I see around my life. You can't want something, but you're not even it yourself. A lot of these guys be sitting here swiping on these girls. She not bad enough. She's not hot, bro. Now there is that beer belly. And now there's you not working out. Now there is your drinking habits when you go out downtown. The energy you give is the energy you get. So until you take yourself seriously, you're working out every day, and you're be the person you want to date. How you sitting here talking about this person don't fit this, and you're just swiping so carelessly as if you're perfect or flawless yourself. You're not. You have things to work on too. So give that same respect to somebody else out there that's single as well.
Your ideal type. The reason why the modern dating culture is so toxic and people are having so much trouble with emotional availability is because we've developed this wrongful notion that it's something that's given, that is natural to us. No. Actually, the capacity for love is something you need to train. We're circling back to what I said in the beginning. You can only attract something that you can provide other people. First, you need to learn how to love another being. I'm not talking about people. It can be as simple as a plant. Second, you need to train your ability to focus on one thing. Back in the day, we didn't have to try that hard to train this, but nowadays there's so much stimulus out there. So you actually need to practice teaching your brain on how to focus on one thing at a time. Studies show that people who are better at multitasking are also more likely to commit adultery and cheat on their partners. Third, you need to train your patience and endurance. It doesn't matter how you do this. Personally, I like going to the gym. Not only does this help with your endurance, it also helps to teach you patience because the results are not instantaneous.
This is actually a good list, a good thing to run down, and this goes back to the beginning of the video, talking about the emotional availability and maturity that it takes to jump in a relationship, and why most women are single, because most women are doing this work. And I feel like a lot of people need to do this work in order to be in a very fruitful and just good relationship.
To become interested, not interesting. A lot of people are fixated on how to market themselves as an interesting person. I'm not saying that everyone's like this, but a lot of people only talk about themselves on a date. But you become infinitely more interesting when you ask the right questions.
And she didn't touch on it long enough for me. That's a big one. If you're on a date, don't focus on being interesting. Be interested, but be genuinely interested. But if someone's telling you about their day or a hobby that they have, lean into it. Learn more. Actually be interested in what that person likes. Because if you are liking this person, and we're all a combination of everything going on in our lives, and like our personality is our personal life. Like that's what it is. So if you like this person, you to a certain degree are gonna like a lot of the things that help make that person what they are today. So when they're telling you about something in their life, they're telling you about a hobby or their little quirks, whatever it may be, lean into it, be interested, because these are the things that help make the person that you're currently interested in. Hello? So dive into it more. I mean, she laid it out. There's not a lot of people out there doing the emotional work it takes to actually love somebody, unfortunately. In order for you to attract the type of person that you want to be with, you have to also be that person. You can't be having all these wants and needs and you don't even fit that. And you also can't be treating these dating apps as a joke. Like, I love dating apps just because I feel like they do to me, if you take a dating app very seriously, each swipe seriously, you really look into it and you're like, this person fits, 6 out of 10 of my check boxes, and you give them a shot, it works out. I have so many friends and family that have been married off of dating apps, and it's because they took it seriously. But the guys are just like, swipe, oh, I can't find love. No shit, Sherlock. It's no surprise why you can't find love. You probably don't even love yourself.
There is no cure. There is no remedy for the ick. Once I get the ick, it's done for you, babes. I don't even see you anymore. The ick is all I see. Like, and it's not even your fault. It's just that little.
That's toxic. See, people like this deserve to stay single, and people like that make me disheartened. If I was single and I saw this video, I'm like, oh, well, what did I do? And she's saying you're not even doing anything. This makes people so scared to even be themselves because, like, you don't want to give off an ick when really, forget the ick. Like, this is a person just being nice. I don't know. There are some bad, if you don't know what an ick is, first off, an ick is just something like a red flag, basically. If someone gives you a red flag, you gotta run, you gotta go. Now, some of these icks are very stupid, like, oh, he takes it to Cheesecake Factory on the first date, ick. Or he drinks with a straw, ick. That stuff, I can't even comprehend to react to, because I'm like, are you really that delusional? Are you really that, like, artificial of a human being to judge a man for drinking out of a straw? Doesn't make sense to me. But this whole attitude of like, once I get the ick, it can never be gone. Like, you're just as if you don't have any icks, as if you've never done that yourself. Give people the benefit of the doubt. We all grow, we all change, especially like if you're gonna settle down with somebody and agree to be a partnership in life and go through things together. There's gonna be ups and downs. Nothing's perfect. But to sit here and act like you truly blocking your own blessings. That's really what this is. You are blocking your own future man from coming in your life because of one little thing you don't like, instead of giving them a chance. Again, if it's something like, oh, on the first date they got sloshed, hammered, probably not a good thing to go back on a second date with, or they try to get with you on the first date, whatever it may be. You can have your non-negotiables. I can get behind you on that. But for the petty icks, or even, I don't know. It's so contextual, because even then, you can have a date go really well, then y'all go out and this guy gets drunk or this girl gets drunk. It's like, that's a problem for them too. Maybe you can be the person to help them get out that bad habit. Again, not the smartest decision for a lot of people. I understand that. Very contextual. It depends. I'm not saying jump in a relationship and fix somebody. That should be not your main goal. But if you really, really like somebody and they take you serious in that help, then take it.
Do you keep getting the ick in dating? Here's the psychology behind why you might be getting the ick. Generally speaking, the ick is when you're romantically attached to someone and then something happens and you're suddenly turned off and no longer interested. Ick isn't exactly a medical term used in psychology yet, but it's a super common experience. The root of it, very often, getting the ick, is a defense mechanism. Protect yourself against rejection, fear, intimacy issues, or relationship failures.
They're so spot on. I feel like an ick is really for the superficial icks. Again, not the serious stuff, but the superficial icks. These are just you giving yourself the opportunity to run because you're scared of commitment. You're scared of actually being in a relationship. You're scared of them finding the same thing about yourself. So you're running first before they find a problem with you.
Maybe you've had experiences with not being able to trust people or people not showing up for you. And you're dating someone new and they're showing you that they can be trustworthy and they are going to show up for you. Your nervous system simply isn't used to this. And as a result, those good behaviors can feel repulsive.
And this is where I feel bad, because this is where that whole meme, I mean, it's been in TV shows and movies, but this idea of like women only wanting the bad guy and women not wanting the good guy, it's a real pipeline. Like, it's a real thing that exists, because these emotionally mature, like the white dude, the very wholesome and cute white guy, I feel like people like him get treated like the nice guy, and like he's too, people say, I guess, feminine for just being in touch with his emotions and wanting to spoil a woman. It's all ridiculous, quite honestly. But there is something to this point, what this girl is saying, and a lot of women out there coming across a guy that is just emotionally available and honestly coming off as like too good to be true, where her own insecurities come out on red flags, and then she leaves.
Maybe something you need, but maybe you grew up without, or this was missing in your past relationships. So in order to protect yourself, you convince yourself that you don't need these things.
This is something I had to go through, because I wasn't used to what love, like I didn't know what love is until I met my man. Like I truly did not know what love was, what like having a family with like little to no drama was, like having a supportive like mother. Like I didn't know what any of that was, truly. And what people have to realize is that just like change is uncomfortable. So a new feeling is uncomfortable. It's literally new pathways in your brain. It's all just uncomfortable. But being uncomfortable doesn't mean it's bad. Our brain and our society wants to say that this feeling of change and something different happening is bad. But that's not always the case. You can't expect to want a different life for yourself, but expect to be the same person you are today. No, you're gonna change. Things have to change. If you want to leave this repetitive cycle of all these toxic men or toxic women, and you come across somebody good, it's going to feel weird. It's going to feel bad, because it's not something your body and your mind is used to. So you have to allow yourself the mental capacity to like slow down a little bit. Like, okay, it's fine. Like, this is what I've been asking for. This is what I've been wanting, and just accept it and lean into it. Because 9 times out of 10, it will work out in your favor.
For that icky behavior is just you protecting yourself from feeling what you were missing in the past. If an unexpected behavior is suddenly turning you off, ask yourself, what might this be triggering? Possibly it's some long-term unresolved issues, or it might reflect a difficulty you're having coping with some of those life stresses. Humans are innately driven to seek closeness and security, but if we feel threatened or confronted, we might look for ways to distance ourselves out of a drive for self-protection. Ask yourself this: am I following the same pattern of holding myself back in relationships?
Which is a thing that a lot of people do. Again, that's why I said before in that last video we're going through, there's a lot of context and nuance when it comes to some of these relationship tips and ideas and how people are feeling the way they feel, because this is one of them, in that if you are someone that has the constant aches, or you're so picky, or this or that, or oh, they just turned me off, I don't know why, you very well could be blocking your future like best husband you've been dreaming of, tossing them out the window because of your own insecurities and your own problems that you haven't been facing. You can't heal what you never confront. You can't heal yourself. You can't heal all this generational trauma. You can't heal this pattern of toxic relationships and this pattern of or even just being single without accepting that things have to change. And just because something's changing does not mean that it's necessarily bad. It is okay for things to change in your life for the better. But if things are going to be changing in your life for the better, if you're going somewhere, if you're going to get better, you are actively changing your situation, what's going on, it's going to feel a little weird. And that's okay. Lean into it. It's fine. But these people having these icks, it can get deep. It really can, into some self-discovery and figuring out who you are as a person.
Dating apps are uniquely depressing from a guy's perspective, because you send out all these likes, then only a fraction of those likes turn into matches. Then a fraction of those matches respond to your message. Then a fraction of the girls who respond to your message you have a good conversation with. Then a fraction of those good conversations turn into planning a date. Then a fraction of those planned dates actually happen, because sometimes things fizzle out in the planning process, or sometimes people flake the day of. And then a fraction of the dates that you actually go on are worthwhile, because either you're like not attracted to the person when you meet them, or you guys just don't click. And I'm sure it's not all rainbows from the girl's perspective either. Maybe you guys could chime in, but it's crazy, because I've actually had good experiences with dating apps. Like my last girlfriend I met through a dating app, but she said that on our first date, she was thinking about canceling the day of because it was raining out and it just felt like a pain in the ass.
And this is something that both women and guys can relate to and are going through right now as far as these dating apps goes. And it's just a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction. You spend all this time, you go on this date, and then it like fills out or doesn't go anywhere. It can be very demoralizing. It can be very unmotivating. But I think, my unpopular opinion, like finding love on a dating app, I think at this rate, you just need to be more selective on your dates. Maybe y'all should be texting for like a good 2-3 weeks. Because you can do that. We all have internet friends. Hello. We all have people that we met online or through Instagram, whatever. So I think it's possible to like be chatting all the time, exchange numbers, chat and build up, and then go on a date. Because I didn't go on a date until like 2-3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks after we matched. Yeah. Talked every day from the second we matched, but didn't go on a date until like 2-3 weeks after that. So I will offer that up. I think you can be way more selective with who you're going on a date with. I don't know, but that is a little sad that that's how it is for a lot of people. As we've seen throughout this video and heard a bunch of different perspectives from the dating apps, the icks, what it's like to go on first dates, the toxic people that exist. Even I'm taken and I'm tired of dating, just watching the video. Truly, because there's so much that goes into it. Like, I'm so hopeful for all the single people out there. You can still find love on dating apps. You can still find love in person, whatever it may be. But it is harder. And I understand why there are a lot of people just not dating anymore because of the economy, how expensive it is for straight men to date. But then also on the flip side, you have all the emotionally mature, independent, feminist women, which is a blessing and a curse. Like, yes, I'm glad you know your worth. I'm glad you know what you want in a man. But don't let that be your downfall either. Like, just because you got it all together, don't expect every other man to have it together too. At least give them like 50% the way there. You know, if you understand and know that most men don't have it together, then that's the pool you got to deal with. And then you pick the people who you think are going to be more likely to work on themselves without you having to intervene in that process. Pick a man that, you know, if this man has a good job and he's going to the gym, boom. But okay, perfect. If this man's going to the gym, has a good job, but another area of his life is lacking, at least you know he has that drive, that confidence. You see these things in him. These traits can be applicable to other areas of his life. I've seen that work wonderfully with some of my friends where they've identified, okay, he needs some work over here, but he has these traits and these traits can then apply over here. Again, your main goal shouldn't be to jump in a relationship to fix somebody, repair somebody. No, but if we can acknowledge that a lot of men are broken, then we can acknowledge, at least spot out, to me at least, some of the men who have the traits, who have the skill sets, who I at least identify that they're broken, they're willing to work on themselves. That's just me. But I will say another video that I will be working on is 2 that I got out this video. There's a lot more to go through. But 1 is a video on why it's so hard to make friends as an adult. It's already hard to date, but making friends as an adult is hard. But then 2, toxic masculinity and why there's like an influx of men who don't really know themselves. And this whole like midlife crisis, I feel like you only have a midlife crisis if you've just been ignoring your life throughout your 20s and 30s. And all of a sudden you're 45 and you're like, fuck, like what is going on? What is my life? It's because you haven't even lived. That's the real tea. If you're having a midlife crisis, you haven't lived. You don't even like your own life. You've been on autopilot, in and out every day, just work, home, and you just wake up, boom, you addicted to drugs or you're addicted to alcohol, and you don't even like your life. Why is that happening so prevalent with men? We're gonna get into that in another video. So be sure to subscribe if you like this type of content on my deep dives, us hearing people's perspectives and diving into it. Love it. Unreal to me. I'm so grateful for the support here on this channel. We're over 525,000 subscribers, which just blows my mind. I ordered all my equipment. This is all gonna look crazy. I have a custom shelf coming. It's gonna go right here. It's amazing. Oh, the shelf's amazing. Another couch, lights, it's gonna be so good. And then I have a whole new setup here coming, so I'm just grateful for the support. There's lots more coming down the pipeline, big announcements coming when it's all said is done. I have a really cool thing I'm working on for you guys, so be sure to subscribe if you wanna stay in a loop. Thank you guys a ton. Thank you for my Patreon supporters. It's $1 a month. Join the OG fam. Love you guys down. I'm very grateful and honored to have you there. We're chatting in the Discord, playing games, whatever it may be. It's fun. But yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway I want you to walk away from this video, if you're still here today, have hope that you will find love. You're someone worthy of being loved, but also Do the work to work on yourself and understand that you can't love somebody if you can't love yourself. It's possible to be with somebody who's also working on loving themselves. Y'all can work on loving yourself together. Easy, but at least be willing to sit down and face the person you are in the mirror and understand the work that needs to be done in order to be your best self. So I'll leave you with that. Love you guys a ton, and I'll see you in the next video. Deuces.